Okay, we are recording. Welcome to week 2 of our class. We missed last week because of me. I forgot. My husband had his best friend come in from out of town, and we were teaching him new board games, and I completely lost track of time. My phone was in the other room. We were out there playing board games, and by the time I was reminded at 9 o'clock by Chris, hey, are we still doing this? I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, let's do it next week. So we are here with week 2. And let me see if I can get there we go. All right, so you made it to week 2. So did you get a chance to listen to the call about the product training that I put, that was part of the homework?
You know what? I forgot.
Okay, so we'll skip this slide. So basically there's a ton of information on there, so I'll add it to this week's homework because it's a great one to take. Hold on, let me stop.
Is that
it's on Consultant's Corner.
I mean, is the homework on the invite?
It is also on the PowerPoint I sent you.
Did you send it? Where?
I sent it to you on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to go back and.
Yeah, so it's like one of the very last slides that talks about the homework, but normally I post it. See, the way I did this last time is I did a Facebook group instead of doing it as events. And then all these people were added to the group, and then it ended up just being me, and they wouldn't post stuff, and they wouldn't do the homework, and so I was like, well, I'm doing this as a training for you guys, and I want this to, but I can't make you want it. So,
yes,
so if you want it, you're here. If you're not, it is. But anyway, so when you get a chance to listen to that training, post on the team page or post somewhere that says, hey, I just watched this training. And you can put it in the, here's something that I learned from it. It's a great one if you want to go look at it. Because I think that, we're more constantly learning and we're able to be better consultants to our customers and, better to our team because we have a better understanding of what we do. So the selling skills, there are some great word choices. And Michael Reeves is great. If you want to YouTube anybody, he has some great selling skills. So does Sharon Zellen as far as words that they use when they're trying to sell big ticket items. And what they do is, and I'm going to share, and then if you have any ideas you can share, but what they do is they paint a picture of what that product can do for your life. So for instance, if they're trying to sell you on the double burner grill pan, they're going to be using it at the party. They're going to say, oh my gosh, this double burner grill pan is going to save you so much time in the kitchen. If you have a big family like me, or you're constantly entertaining, you're going to be able to cook for 10 to 12 people at one time. So you're not going to have to worry about food getting cold before you get a chance to sit down at the kitchen, sit down at the table and eat. Everything's done at the same time. You can do your hamburgers, your hot dogs, your steaks, your pork chops. You can even do omelets on there and roll them all up. You can do so many different things with this pan that you buy at once. It's going to save you money down the line. So they'll paint a word picture and give you so many, it does this, it does this, it does this, it does this, and just in conversation. And they do that for each of the products they're talking about. So at the end of it, you're going, oh my gosh, I totally want that. I need that. Whatever it is, you have this idea that you want to be able to use it in your show. And I'm not a Sharon, I'm not a Michael Reeves, but you can take some of their tips and figure out how you can apply them. When we were at a spring launch conference, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I heard that joke about the scrapers. Have you heard the Baywatch joke with the scrapers?
No.
Okay, so the white silicone spatulas, I usually will show them at my parties and tell them, that I nicknamed these my Baywatch spatulas because they're skinny on the bottom, big on top, and full of silicone. And I'm with all women, so they're laughing their butts off anyways. And I go, and they come in sizes from training bra to double D. Now, I took that from someone I heard it say on stage at conference 4 years ago, but they don't know that anybody else did that. So I just make it mine. You find something that you're listening to and you're like, oh, I could totally do that. So you want to, just be natural. So that way when you find something that someone else says and you're like, oh, I say something similar, then just work it into your natural conversation. So we want to start talking about bookings and prospecting. So prospecting is where you're sharing your products when you're out and about, sharing what you do. So it's super easy to share what you're so excited about once you're educated on it. Because we do have products that can change people's lives. And that's the thing that, it's not just a product that we can use, but it's a product that can bring people back around the table. And I love the statistics. And there's statistics on this that you can actually look up and use. But there's a higher percentage of students who do better on SATs, have better interviewing skills, are less promiscuous, less apt to do drugs, smoke, and drink because they have family mealtime together. And I love that that's part of Pampered Chef's mission to bring around a shared mealtime experience. So when we have information like that, it's hard not to share what you know. You see my fan, Steven turned it off, so I'm like, because it's super loud.
It won't bother me if you're
it's fine. If he sees like my hair turned watered, it's because I'm sweating over here. But so, you know, so what our job is our job to help impact future generations just by going to work, just by doing our job. And oh, please don't turn off another one. Oh. Sorry, I heard the other fan disappear. It's Chris. Oh, he's plugging it in behind me. He loves me. Okay, so just make it stay, don't make it rotate. Just like air out this back. For those watching at home, my air conditioner broke about 2 weeks ago, and we're living off of fans. Okay, so it's easy to share when you're out and about, when you're wearing Pampered Chef logo wear, or you have something on, like I have a logo on my car. It's a car decal that is that's forever there, so that people can, like, I can strike up a conversation with people when they're taking my groceries to the car for me. Is that too loud, Chris, the fan?
I don't even hear it.
Ah, hallelujah. I'm using it. Okay. But if you, I know that, and Chris, you're a guy, so you might not be able to carry a Pampered Chef purse, but your wife always could. You know, Pampered Chef purse might look a little weird on you, but a Pampered Chef shirt, a name badge, something that has Pampered Chef on it. We used to have, and we might still have them every once in a while, show up on the Consultant's Corner. On the outlet is the cloth shopping bags, not the ones that strap to your car, but the actual ones that have Pampered Chef's name on them. Have you seen those before?
You mean like when you put your groceries on them?
Yeah, like the fabric ones,
Yeah,
the maroon.
Yeah, do they still make those?
Occasionally they come back out when they're going through and trying to get rid of stuff. Okay. They'll put them back out for us consultants, and it'll be on the Consultant's Corner under the consultant cart, and then there'll be like clearance items.
Okay.
So look there, because occasionally they come back out, but and they were sold in a set of 4, I think, before. But yeah, so those are a great thing if you can get your hands on any, or if there's an old consultant who's no longer selling and getting rid of stuff. Great time to stock up on those. But I try to carry a Season's Best cookbook with you. I have this little pouch that I got from the Dollar Tree that's plastic that snaps, and it's big enough to hold my mini catalogs. So it holds mini catalogs, some business cards. I put my oh, hold on. Hey, you want headphones? Okay. He's watching TV. See, our offices have come to the bedroom now that our office is occupied. But anyway, so there's, carry some Pampered Chef material around, because when you're out and about and you're talking to people and making conversation, you want to be able to hand them your information. So I have, and I don't know if, hold on, let me look. I thought I had my stuff behind me there, but I don't. So it's in the other room, and I'm not getting up to go get it. But we have, and if you don't have any, we can give you some at training tomorrow. These Post-it notes that you can stick onto your mini catalogs that have like where people can fill out their information. Did you ever get any of those?
No, I don't have any of those.
Okay, remind me tomorrow.
Okay.
Bobby has them, but I'll bring some if I can unbury them from my desk. They might be still in the office or if not, they're in boxes, but Bobby does have some. We bought several, so we can hand them out, but it's basically a pad of Post-it notes that you can take and stick onto your mini catalog, so that way when you're talking to someone and that you start talking about Pampered Chef, then you can exchange them a mini catalog or a recipe card for their contact information, to add them to your newsletter, to follow up with them on a product, or to send them a new catalog, whatever it is that, the goal of prospecting is to get business away from your normal atmosphere. And I know what you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to talk to people while I'm out and about. Yes, you do. I'm not crazy.
Let me ask you this. This is my only concern, and Kira and I have talked about this before in the past. As a guy, I always felt like it would be strange or may look kind of weird for me to go up to, start talking to a woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as their perspective, even though I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I could see that. I think it is definitely easier for women to talk to women. So this might be a place where you need to enlist Kira's help and say, hey, when we go to Publix, can you wear this? Can you strike up the conversation, and you can tell them your husband is the consultant, and then I can talk to them.
Okay.
Because it is, honestly, it probably is easier. I don't know if Steven's ever tried to strike up a conversation with anyone about Pampered Chef. I know if it comes up, he mentions me. But I don't know that he's ever gone out of his way to try to get me business while we're in Publix, because I don't think I've ever asked him to. But yeah, it might be. I mean, I would definitely, if you see a man in there shopping, definitely strike up a conversation with a man, because typically the women are the shoppers anyways. But there's a big niche of, I think it's almost about 40 to 50% of the men are the actual cooks in the kitchen, not the women. So it's no longer the stereotype of women are the chefs. No, it's pretty equal. So so when you see someone in there shopping in the produce section and they're getting stuff, oh, what are you cooking? Make the conversation. So you might not be able to approach a woman, even though I would still do it. I don't know that I would approach a guy though. See, that's kind of interesting, because I don't think I ever have. It's always been women.
Yeah.
So I would start with the guys and then branch from there if you feel comfortable, or enlist your lovely wife to say, hey, so you talk to this one for me, and then bring it back around.
Okay.
But people are everywhere, and there's so many people that struggle with mealtime ideas, and that's where we really can bridge a gap and say, oh my gosh, I have an entire recipe full of recipes for you. I have an entire website full of recipes for you. And then, like in this situation, how many of you have stared at the cabinet or fridge hoping something would jump out at you for dinner? You're like, what are we going to make? Well, I don't know. What do you want to make? And then you usually end up ordering in, because neither of you can decide what to make, and neither one wants to cook, and so then you spend more money. So really, if you're not sharing what we can make and the recipes and, how Pampered Chef could really help them, it's being a little selfish. So you got to share. Okay, so this one, and I know it's hard to see the top because I've got my stuff on there, but, if you're like, here's some ideas. If you're shopping for a brownie recipe and you're like, this one, sorry, I just have to fly off at me because the fan's right here now, so things are flying. So this one is an instance where you have a naughty brownie recipe card. So we can get recipe cards on that consultant cart on Pampered Chef's website for us. So there's a ton of different ones, and I'm not sure if the naughty brownie recipe card is still in there, but it's like $2 for a set of 30. Yeah. And what I used to do, I have business cards because I do a lot of vendor events, so I have business cards for that, because sometimes they'll keep them longer. But what I find is they actually keep the recipes way longer than they're going to keep a business card. So I'll buy the recipe cards from Pampered Chef, put my information on them, and I can pass recipe cards out, because they'll keep the recipe longer than they'll keep my business card. So this one is an example where you can ask someone when you're in the brownie aisle, hey, is this a good brownie mix recipe? I'm making this recipe tonight. Show them the recipe card. Do you think this is a good brand? Just to start up a conversation, have you heard of Pampered Chef? Typically what happens is they respond with, I love the Pampered Chef. And you go, I know, right? When's the last time you've been to a party? Would you like a new product flyer or a new mini catalog or something? Yes, well, of course, you need pasta. I'd love to follow up with you and see what you think of the new products. Can I get your information? And then that way that you have a reason to get their card. Now, I will tell you this, the key is to follow up with them within 24 to 48 hours. If you don't, every day after that, they lose 10% interest in what they've done. So if you're after 2 days, you might as well just throw up the lead and toss it, because you're not doing anything with it, and they've already lost interest. I stay pretty busy, so I'm not usually within that 2-day time frame. I'm more like a week, but you really should. I probably would get more responses if I called immediately. What I do always do is when I get new contacts and new leads, and this is my stack that I'm currently working through to call, but I will make sure I put them in my contact list with Pampered Chef so that they're getting my newsletter. Because even if I don't have a chance to follow up with them right away, I still want them to have my information so that they're going to get my newsletter and say, oh, hey, yeah, I did meet her. So I still put them all on my contact list. Okay, so in the checkout line, you might see something like this. I can't wait to try these brownies at home. Don't they look amazing? She asks about them, and you say, have you heard of Pampered Chef? These are just some ideas. You know, here's a latest copy of our spring products. Check out this awesome veggie spiralizer. It's taking the noodle world by storm. Not, I wouldn't say anything like that. But this is just an idea of how you can just make conversation. So really, it ends up being this thing of, typically in the line, if you're waiting forever for someone, you end up striking up a conversation with someone else. Oh my gosh, what are you making for dinner tonight? That looks good. Or what do you do you got over there? It looks like brownies. Are you doing a dessert bar tonight or whatever? So you make a conversation, and then if they ask you, typically it goes, well, what are you guys doing tonight? Well, I'm trying this new recipe, and I always bring it back to the tax write-offs. With my business, I get to write off a whole meal once a week, so a main dish, appetizer, and dessert. So today I'm trying some new recipes. Then that usually goes with, oh, what do you do? Right? Mm-hmm. It's for my business. I can write this off. So then that leads them to ask the question, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm a director with the Pampered Chef, and I get to try some great new products all the time and make some yummy recipes. But you don't want to be fumbling around with words to describe what you do. So we want to always be prepared with a 20-second commercial. So like your elevator speech, So something along the lines of, I help people create mealtime memories with quality tools and tasty recipes. Or I show busy families how to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes. I help people discover their inner Rachel Ray. Mm-hmm. Everyone can cook. Why not? All of these are designed for people to then ask you what you do. Oh, I'm with the Pampered Chef. Have you heard of us? Their response 99% of the time is, I love Pampered Chef. And this one's funny. I'm so glad I'm not a lawyer. No one ever says, oh, I love lawyers. But they always love Pampered Chef. And that's the thing about name recognition. Our name does a lot for us. So once they know what you do, then it makes it easier for them to go, oh my gosh, I love Pampered Chef. I haven't been to a party in forever. I went to a birthday party today, random, and I was wearing one of my Pampered Chef shirts. And this husband comes up to me, he goes, oh my God, my wife loves you guys' stuff. And I forgot I have enough Pampered Chef logo wear that I could go a month without doing laundry, Stephen tells me all the time, and still not have worn it all. But he goes, oh my gosh, my wife loves your stuff. And I said, oh, me too. That's why I'm doing this. I said, what's your favorite product? And he goes, oh my gosh, she has this thing that does the hamburger meat perfect. And I go, our mix and chop, that's our #1 seller. And he goes, I bet it is. That thing's our favorite. And I said, when's the last time you guys saw a catalog? He goes, oh, it's been a few years. She used to host parties all the time. I'm like, is she here? He said, yeah, she's over there. I said, I'll go chat with her before I leave. So we got to talking, and she's a mutual friend. We have a mutual friend. That's why we're at the birthday party together. Got her information. I'm going to follow up with setting a date because I didn't have my calendar with me. Shame on me. I was going to a birthday party. I wasn't planning on booking a show. So I didn't have my calendar with me. But I told her I'd follow up with her this week, and we'll see what her summer looks like. So bookings really are everywhere. Like, you can be at a birthday party and take a recipe in something Pampered Chef. Or, I use, especially during the summer, I use my Cool and Serve tray a lot because I can take that to any event, if you don't have one, worth their weight in gold, because people are always like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? That's amazing.
Yeah, I have one.
Pampered Chef, it's amazing. You can get one for free. Let's do it. Why not? So, so we want to be able to prospect out and about. So, and not even just when you're in the grocery store. If you're at the vet, you're fostering these new cats when you're at the vet. Have something Pampered Chef there. Have a catalog you're thumbing through so you can see the new stuff. And they're going to, oh my gosh, what are you looking at? Whatever it is, because bookings really are the heart of our business. The magic number is 2. I know a couple of months back at training, Bobby and I did that. 2 bookings from every training, 2 bookings from every show versus 1 booking. Were you there for that?
Yeah, you go, like if you only get 1 and by the end you have none. Yeah.
Yeah.
So formula, yeah.
So the magic number is 2 shows from every show. So you never want to close a party without 2 bookings. And a lot of this has to do with getting your host involved and saying, I really do need to close 2. I need to get 2 shows on the schedule before we can close this party. Make it a requirement. Just like they have to get at least 200 in sales to be able to earn host rewards. They need to have 2 parties booked in order to be able to close the show. And the reason why is 1 is to replace the show you just did. And the second one is to grow your business. And of course on here, 2 cooking shows in the catalog shows even better, or 2 cooking in a virtual, or 2 virtual, and whatever it is, 3 is always more than better than 2. But always ask for the show. Ask for it at your parties. And even if they say, oh, I don't have time for a cooking show. Well, what about a catalog or a virtual party? Those are gravy. I always say that my cooking shows are my cake, because I love cake. I don't like mashed potatoes and gravy, but I love dessert. So my cooking shows are my cake, and my catalog and virtual parties are the icing. Because I typically make more money on my live cooking shows than I do on my virtual parties. So, there's a ton of people that do just straight virtual. I'm not there yet. I would love to be able to learn more and succeed better in that area, but I'm not there yet. Cooking shows are what I started with, and I think that's kind of why I have a good niche there. And the virtual shows are they're nerve-wracking to me. I don't know why. But in order to get the 2 bookings, you have to ensure a few things. And this list is going to get very small because there's a lot of things. But I'll read them. Okay, so host coach effectively. If you have not taken the host coaching course on Pampered Chef University, or it's been a while, take a refresher. Because when you are talking to your host and getting her excited or him excited, that's going to be able to ensure that you are going to maintain that show. Show up on time. I typically show up 30 minutes before my cooking show because I like to be able to set up and have everything ready before the first guest walks in the door. Make sure all your dishes are clean. Sometimes my things have water spots on them if I've just taken them out of a dishwasher. You don't have to write this down unless you really just left me. Chris left. All right, so I'm going to move on in case he doesn't come back, and then I'll be able to have this recorded for later. So make sure all your dishes are clean. Make sure you are appropriately dressed. Now, appropriately dressed isn't necessarily that you have to be fancy. No suits, no ties, no pantyhose and skirts. You don't have to do anything like that. Dress for what's comfortable for you, and I always try to match the way my host is. So if my host is casual, I'm going to come dressed casual because then we're going to be able to get along a little bit better. Of course, smell good. You want to make sure that you've showered. Welcome back. I kept going on without you. Welcome back. I can't hear you, but you're here. Try talking again. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. So if you can keep trying to talk, I can't hear you yet. Okay, so talk about the high ticket items, the high priced items. I can't hear you. It's okay. I'll just talk to myself. Oh, there you go. You're back. Did you push the little microphone?
Yeah, my cat stepped on my computer and shut it off.
Oh, it's funny. Speaking of cats.
So you were at you started with make sure your dishes are clean. That's when
Yeah, so make sure your dishes are clean. I'll back up. I did keep going. I was like, just in case he doesn't come back. And for those of you watching, I'm not just like.
Oh.
Okay, so for me, I try to make sure that I don't have water spots on them, that everything has been washed. But if they have water spots, I know I use them, so I'm not too worried. Make sure you're appropriately dressed, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be polo shirt, nice khakis, dress shoes, tie, none of that stuff. You just need to be dressed for what's appropriate for you and for your host. And I typically will try to match my host because I've usually met them somewhere before. So if I met them and they were wearing khakis and a tank top, then I know that they're kind of casual, or I'll just ask them, hey, what kind of foods are we going to make? What kind of people are we going to be? And oh, we're super casual. Then I'll be okay to wear my khakis and a tank top because I'm going to be able to blend with her group a little bit better instead of me dressing fancier than they are. Always make sure that you smell good. You don't want to go in there all sweaty and like you've been running a marathon. Talk about the high-priced products because that's going to create desire beyond what their budget is for. When you're talking about that at a show and you have someone who wants that double burner grill pan, but they're not going to fork over $250 for it, when you're talking about why they need it, they're going to want to host a party so they can get it for your half price. Make your host feel special and appreciated. Thank her for coming. Thank her for inviting all of her friends to the house. I usually do this thing at my shows, and I don't think you've seen one of my shows yet, but I do a thing at the very beginning where I have everyone tell me their name, and they give me one word to describe our host, because it really builds her up right at the very beginning of the show. So you're going to say, oh, she's so nice. She's so beautiful. She's such a great friend. You know, whatever, that's going to help her feel so special because all of her friends are complimenting her. Go over the bookings in your intro several times during your demo and at your closing. I have booking lines built in. So does Pampered Chef if you're using their cards. They have like these 5x7 laminated cards that came in the consultant kit that have a script in them. They have all kinds of word choices in there for you. Use the door prize slip and walk them through the boxes. So when I'm doing this, I tell them, I'm going to hand you all a drawing slip. This is going to be because I like to give away free stuff. So go ahead and fill out as much contact information as possible. That's going to be for the warranties that are on your products that you're going to be getting tonight. And then at the bottom, it's going to ask you some questions. So stop right before you get to the questions, and I'll go over those in a minute with everybody. So I'll give it until everyone's pencil, and then I'll move on. Okay, the first question is going to ask you if you want to earn extra money. That's doing what I do. I always say no means no, not even if my kids had no shoes. Yes or maybe means you've got me curious. I'd like to take home some information, no strings attached. So then the second one asks if you want to host a cooking show. That's what we did here tonight. If you love to cook, eat, and entertain, this is a great way to get some free stuff. So no means no. I no longer cook and need nothing else in my kitchen. Yes or maybe means let's think about it. You're not setting a date in stone unless you already know when you want to get together. And then I go on to say, if you want to do a catalog show, that's super easy. You do all the work and I get a paycheck. And they laugh every time. But I'm saying we can set you up with that too. We can also do a Facebook party. And then if you check anything else on here, just let me know so I can get you the information for it. And then on the new drawing slips, it actually has this line that says, be notified when my wish list goes on special. Have you seen that on the drawing slips?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's on the very bottom. So they'll check that. So I'll say stuff like this. And if you check mark that box that says be notified when my wish list of products go on special, please jot something down because I am not a mind reader. I don't know what you want. And then that way I can file them by, okay, she wants cookware, stoneware. And when we have it go on sale 60% off, I can reach out to them and say, hey, I know you were looking at getting that knife block set. It's going 60% off in July, which I don't really know what it is, but you know, so that way I can let them know and kind of do my job to consult them. So walk them through those drawing slips, and then do the 3-pile checkout. Ask each and every customer every single question, even if they've already turned this into you in the drawing slip and they've said no, no, no to everything. Still reach out to them and say, you know, I don't even look at these. When I'm doing my checkout, once I enter their contact information into my iPad, I put the drawing slips away. I don't look at them, so I don't even know what they've said. So if, Chris, you were to come to my checkout line and I'd already entered your information, I'm going to make small talk with you, and I'm going to say, so what did you think of the party tonight? What did you think of the food? And we're going to chit-chat, and I'm going to go, so have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef? You know, you are amazing over there on that manual food processor. You could totally do this job. Something along those lines, you know, because I'm going to make conversation. And you're going to go, oh, no, I could never do this. And I'm like, you'd be surprised, you know, the men in this industry that work it like a business make a full-time income. So think about it. You never know if later on down the line there's something you want to do. I'd love to be able to talk to you more about it. Can I send you home with some information and follow up? Why not? You're going to say, okay, yeah, sure. And I'll say, okay, I'd like to follow up with you in a couple of days just to see what you thought. Have you ever thought about hosting a party of your own like we did here at Susie's and getting some friends together to get some of the stuff that you're not purchasing tonight? You know, maybe you have more on your wish list. So I'm going to walk through every single thing, even though they've just checked yes or no. Because I'm not going to assume that just because they checked no, that's not going to turn into a yes when we're talking. Okay, another thing that you can do is if they say no to a cooking show, ask about a virtual party. If they say no to a party at all, ask for a referral. Do you know anyone else who would like to earn some free stuff? Or maybe you can, you know, I'd love to give thank you gifts for referrals. You know, offer an incentive to the guest or the host to book shows, such as when you get 3 bookings, she'll get this prize for free. Or when you book your show, I'll bring the ingredients for a yummy molten chocolate cake, molten lava cake. You know, all those kind of things. So know about your products when you're doing the demo to create interest for purchasing and booking shows. Smile a lot and have fun. No one wants to book a party with an Eeyore, but they will book with Tigger. So be excited, be enthusiastic, be answering questions clear and concise. I try not to give too much information because we can word vomit on people and then they lose interest. So I give just enough information to pique interest and then I back off the question. Okay, so have your calendar ready and clear to book dates right then and there. Get them on your calendar at all possible that night. If not, write their date in pencil so you can follow up with them. Because a lot of times what's going to happen is someone's going to say yes to a show, but they don't know when, right? But if you let them leave that show without putting something on their calendar, then you're not going to get the booking. So what I typically do is I'll say, well, what typically works for you, a weeknight or a weekend? And then I let them answer. And if they say a weekend, I say, you know, my weekends are the first thing to go. Do you need a Friday or a Saturday? And then if they say I need a Friday, and I go, well, my next Friday is not until June 6th, 17th. Nope, I have a party that one. Whatever the one is after Father's Day, that's the next Friday I think I have available. So I will let them know, oh no, I booked that one too. I don't have any Fridays until July. So whatever it is, I'll let them know, okay, if you need a Friday, I can do the Friday before July 4th, or we can go July 4th week, which would work better for you. Just like when you go to a doctor's office, you know, they don't give you the whole calendar for you to pick your next appointment. They say, okay, the doctor wants to see you back here in 6 months. Do you want a morning or an afternoon? So what do you say? A morning. Okay, we've got this date at 8:30. Does that work for you? They don't even give you two choices. They give you one. And if you say no, they're going to give you the next morning that they have available. And that's it. So I always say I'm kind of like a doctor's office. I want to give them two choices and then have them pick whichever works better for them. And if they say, well, you know what, I'm going to need to ask some friends before I set it in stone, I'm going to say, that's okay. When you're talking to your friends and you say, hey, I'm going to be hosting a Pampered Chef party, the first question they're going to say to you is when? So let's get our date scheduled, because when you're talking to them, if we need to change it down the road, we can. But let's go ahead and say we're going to go Friday, July 1st, whatever that Friday is in July. Let's pencil it in for then. That way you can find out if people are going to be in town before the holiday, and then I'll check back with you in 2 days and just make sure that date still works. Because that's what you want to do, is you want to get them on your calendar so that way when they're talking to people, you already know you've got the date, and then all you have to do is follow up just to confirm it. Okay, so then something else here. Tell them you'll contact them as soon as they pick their date. If they don't contact you within 2 days, then you can text the potential host and the current host at the same time to follow up, to do it as a group text or a group Facebook message. Because then that current host that you just had a party with is going to want her 50% off item. So she's going to be saying, oh yeah, Chris, you need to do your party. I get a 50% off. And that's kind of sneaky, but we'll take it. Okay, so start saying on the way to your party, I will get 2 cooking shows and 1 catalog show booked today. I am a booking magnet. Everyone wants to book and shot a show with me. You know, those positive affirmations are going to help you to be able to set yourself up for success. I have Post-its and all my goals penned all over the room because I have to see them screaming at me. Like the one over here says, what you do every day matters more than what you do every once in a while. So it's those daily disciplines that matter more than just me making phone calls once a month. I should be doing it daily. I should be reaching out daily, not every once in a while. So stop saying I wish and start saying I will. There's audios you can download to your phone to listen to while you're to and from your shows, and a ton of information online, which we'll get to. So not last week, but 2 weeks ago, because I had this set up for last week, we discussed our belief system, and I challenge you to strengthen your system so much that your belief in our 3 opportunities exudes from you. The opportunity to purchase products, the opportunity to book a show, the opportunity to join one of the fastest growing teams. You know, because that's what you got to believe. You got to believe that your team is one of the fastest growing teams with this company. When you wake up, the first thing you should think is, whose life will I change today? So this week, I want you to look at your passion behind this company's booking opportunity. You've got to believe that we have the best thing ever and be so completely passionate about it that you can't help booking a ton of parties. Are you passionate at your parties? Are you passionate about your products? Can they tell that you're in love with your products? Can they tell when you talk about bookings how much fun it's going to be and how it's crazy not to have a party? Can you paint a picture so they have a clear picture that they need to join your team? They have to. This is so much fun. You know, these are the kind of things that you want to be able to express without word vomiting on everyone, but posting on Facebook. Like I posted my dinner the other night, just the steaks, it's what's for dinner. And then I hashtagged double burner grill pan, hashtagged, Yum, hashtag something else, I can't remember. Possibly that they were huge because they were huge steaks. But I wasn't doing it to drive sales. I was doing it to share my life and to share what I'm working with. And I had 3 people message me, what are you using? What kind of, how can I get, how much are those? How much is that pan? Because they want to be able to cook steaks like that. So I didn't book parties from it yet, but I'm working on it. It'll happen because it's expensive. But I told them they could buy it full price. So, so I want you to answer honestly about these questions. We did this the last time. Are you passionate about your products? It's a yes or no. Are you passionate about booking shows? Are you passionate about sharing our business opportunity? And a thing to remember is whether you are or you are not, it shows. Okay, so how can you reignite your passion? Of course, Chris is going to Hawaii instead of National Conference. Boo. Fine. But attending National Conference is a great way because it gets you excited and built up and gives you a ton of motivation. There's some great statistics in there about the percentage of people who go to conference who do better the next season with their business. You can always watch replays if you wanted to pay for the online, since you're in Hawaii several hours before us, after us, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Yeah, but you could, because you would probably be, it would be early for you, so you could still watch some stuff in the morning and then move on with your day. But and then the replays will be up. Usually it's about the next month. So if we're meeting in August, it probably won't show up on Consultants Corner until September, but there will be a ton on there. Go through Pampered Chef University again, and I need it for oven, as I don't know if it fits in I have a host texting me. Go through Pampered Chef University again. Take as many online trainings as you can, because it's going to help to reignite your passion. Watch some YouTube videos. You can always type in Pampered Chef whatever and see a ton of videos that come up. Of course, playing with your products at home. I know Chris is perfecting his ice cream, so I hope to see you selling lots of ice cream makers with all of your tests at home.
Me too.
Attending team meetings, and our next one is tomorrow night. So definitely attending team meetings and bringing people with you to the team meetings is also important, because when you bring someone with you, it makes it more exciting for you to have, and then it shows them that you have a support system that's going to be available to help them when they start their own business. Listening to training calls like this one, or of course other ones that Pampered Chef has that are way better than me. Finding a buddy system to keep you accountable. So a batter bowl buddy is basically someone, old school, they would put names in a batter bowl. Whoever wanted to have an accountability partner, and they would draw names. You two are accountability partners. You two are accountable. But if you don't have something like that, find someone that you can buddy up with and say, hey, I'm wanting to do this with my business. Could you help hold me accountable? And give them permission to ask you the hard questions. How many shows did you book this week? How many people did you talk to? If you give them permission to hold you accountable, it's going to, number one, it's going to make you try to actually do what they're going to ask you, because you want to be able to answer them with, I called 35 people this week. And they're going to go, all right, that's good. Instead of saying, I should have made phone calls and I didn't get to it. That's going to crush your spirit, especially if you have someone is going to be asking you those tough questions. Find a fair or a booth that you can work, because that's always a great time for you to hear how much people love Pampered Chef. I don't ever go to a vendor event where I don't have at least 3 or 4 people that come up and go, oh my gosh, Pampered Chef, I love you guys. That just makes you feel so good. I picked a good company. They love us. Come to a recipe night. That's our 3rd Monday of the month meeting that we do, where we try to do a recipe, and find a Pampered Chef mentor. So someone that you can reach out to. And Chris, you've got some great guys that are in the company. Brian Parker's a great one. He's done 2 coaching calls with me, and I'm not even in his radar anywhere. So he is just so willing to help if you need somebody that can support you and can give you some guidance. He's a great one. Or if you're looking for a guy in the industry, if you're looking for a woman, we got a ton of those too. But if you're looking for a guy, he's a great one. Michael Reeves is a great one. Michael Reeves, I think, is really, really busy with his business, so I don't know how much extra time he gives to people who don't directly affect him, but he has a ton of stuff on YouTube, so you can always stalk him on YouTube.
Him and Brian, they both watch their stuff.
Yeah, I want to have a show schedule like Michael Reeves one day. That's my goal.
That would be nice.
Holy cow! I mean, technically, he works it like his job. That's it.
Yeah.
That's his job.
Yep.
So he goes to work 6 nights a week. Like, oh. Well, it's not really. Sometimes it's only 5. I've looked at his schedule. Okay, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. So you got some homework.
Okay.
So the homework is going to be to listen to Abundant Bookings. It's with Susan Warshay and Missy Elites. It's on Pampered Chef University under bookings. Then there's a peer sharing section on there. And this is I'll copy and paste this link in today, I promise. I didn't do it last time, but I'll copy and paste it. You'll have to be signed into Pampered Chef before you can click onto it. But once you click onto it, it'll let you download it. So you can download it to your computer. If you're doing it from your phone, you can download it to your phone and listen to it in the car when you're on your way to and from work, to and from your shows, anywhere that you want to. But it's going to help you with some ideas on how to get bookings in your life. And I think you're on my team page too, right? Pampered Chef Training Center?
No, I'm not on your team page.
I thought I added you.
Am I? If I am, I don't know about it.
Okay, well, I just had a 3-day booking blitz on my team page. Did you see the event? If you didn't, I can add you. You can go back through and read the posts.
Okay. Yeah, I
have you right now.
I don't have your.
Look at that. You're the first one to come up, so you're not on there. So if you go and look at my, like when you go to info and then go to events, it'll be a past event because it just ended yesterday.
Okay.
And it's called June Booking Blitz. You can't see it but what it was 3 days of posts and ideas for how to get shows on your schedule. And it would give you a post and then a booking tip, a post and a booking tip. So that way you can go through and kind of get some ideas also on there for ways to get shows on your calendar. And then share 5 takeaways. So whether that be on the team page, I just listened to Abundant Bookings and I got these takeaways. There are so many great resources, blah, blah, blah. What have you done for your business today? Something, I don't know, encourage someone else. Because sometimes people think, oh, I know everything, I've got this. And then they don't go and do the training. So then they get discouraged because they're not getting shows and they're not seeing success, but they're not putting in the work. So if they see someone else besides me or Bobby putting in the work, they're going to go, oh, well, Chris did it. I can go do that class. So yeah, post on there about your takeaways. And then I want you to message me. This is what you guys never did last time. But how many shows do you commit to book this week? How many out and about contacts will you commit to trying to get this week? Set a time with me or with whoever you want to be your accountability to discuss. How many leads did you get? How many bookings did you get? What were your sales at your shows? What is something you're having trouble with? And what's something that you did really well this week that you want to brag about? Because these are some questions. This is what is called show-based coaching. So this is what I try to do with my team, is that when they have a show, I want to talk to them either after they're leaving the show or the next day, so I can see what went well. What do you need? What did you have trouble with? What went well? Who did you meet that you'd love to work with? So when you start asking yourself these questions every week and you have someone else asking you these questions every week, it makes it easier for that show-based coaching to happen. I think that's it. So I will be back on here next week. I do think I'm going the July 4th weekend one. I think I'm going to push that back a week, which means we'll actually be finishing that second week in July instead of the first week, but I'll post it so you guys know. Facebook blocked me from adding any more events after I did all of my splurge of them. So I had to wait until I was out of Facebook.
So this will be on that link you're going to put on the event?
Yeah, so I can put it in the event. I can put it on the team page, either one. What's easier?
So what's their team page name?
Mine is Pampered Chef Training Center.
Pampered Chef Training Center. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can look that. I'm on. You have me on there, you said?
I just added you.
Okay. All right. Oh, I should get
You should get a little Facebook message that says you've been added. I'm going to post this homework on the event page right now, so that way I don't forget. Okay. And then the other one, I'll post the one from last week too, but it'll show up in a past event. So you'll just have to look at the event page for it, and I can message it to you also.
Okay, perfect.
All right, cool. I'm going to stop the recording so that way everyone who's watching isn't just going, what are you doing? And I'll post the replay link later. Thanks for watching, Chris.
All right, thanks.
Have fun with your ice cream.
All right.
All right,
I'll let you
bye.
know.
All right, bye.